Frank Achmans here, Supply Chain Dynamics, Chapter 12, Collaborative KPIs. Sysdea Gameplay 10, Historical Behavior. So what happened historically? Well, perhaps it's good to split this discussion in two bits. The first 2 years or 24 months, as we've shown here, and then the second half after the collaborative KPI regime set in. What we see is, well, we can start anywhere. These are loops, but let's start here at IT system quality. IT system quality is going down. There's a natural deterioration in this, and there are simply no quality improvements coming in. Why? Because there are no investments taking place. Why? Well, we'll see that in a minute. As a result of that, the IT quality gap is increasing. Meanwhile, also the data quality is declining. Why? Well, there's a natural degradation process, and the amount of data cleaning is for a while going up, but gradually going down, and anyway, not enough to really deal with everything that's needed. And that has consequences. That has consequences not so much for the customers themselves, because they don't notice this straight away. Not everybody moves house. There is a decline in the satisfaction with service, but that's also not so big. What we do get is that a number of customer queries are gradually increasing. So more stuff is not going right. And that query handling rate, which is depending on the capacity available for query handling, is also going up. So there's more work coming in. That work comes from disruptions, mostly because there's also work coming from order handling, but it's pretty stable. And why from disruptions? Well, that has to do with the effect of IT quality on disruptions. So a bigger gap in IT quality between target and current leads to more disruptions. Query handling, the capacity available, is dependent also on the data quality. The data quality is going down, and the IT quality is going down. As a result of this, productivity in query handling is also going down, and we need more people to do the work. That doesn't make the buyer really happy, and you do see that the way that a supplier looks at this, supplier sees its backlog going up, and a result of that, his satisfaction with the way that things are going down, and so the trust level of the buyer also going down. As we can see up here, buyer trust is sharply declining. So the openness towards supplier is also going down, and as a result of that openness towards suppliers going down, the perceived openness indeed of that supplier is also going down, and that means that the suppliers are also getting kind of distrustful. The trusted supplier is buying, and so the effect of willingness on investment and on responsiveness is also going down. That means that the queries that come from buyer staff, the supplier staff, start rising. There is a rise in the number of people that supplier has to pay to deal with this, but there's also a gradual decline in how much the supplier is actually willing to deal with this. And those issues, of course, have to do again with the IT quality. All this finds its way in the financial flows, because both the supplier and the buyer are experiencing problems here. The current revenues for the supplier are declining. Well, partly as a result of the decline in the market. The revenues per customers are going down. That's the market collapsed. That also leads to lower revenues for the supplier. Meanwhile, the costs are going up as a result of both the supplier FTE and, well, not from systems improvement, so that's not happening. So the costs are going up, the revenues are going down, so the gross profits actually become pretty negative. As a result of that, there is no room for investment, and since there's no room for investments, there are no investments, and IT quality doesn't improve. So there you've got your feedback loop. Because IT quality is going down, the productivity is going down, the issues are going up. As a result of that, the perceived performance of both sides is going down. As a result of that, not only is there less willingness to invest in relationship, there's also more costs and less revenue, so less money to invest in improvements. And that's a vicious cycle. And that changes through the pot of gold. We have two scenarios here. In the base case, nothing happens. We'll talk about that a bit later. But the green line is where we do have an improvement. The collaborative KPIs, and you see that a whole boost in IT quality improvement work comes into the pipeline and actually is implemented, and much better IT system quality is achieved. And the same cycle is followed, the same reinforcing feedback loop, but now in a good way. So we have better IT quality, also have better data clean rate, or the direct result of the collaborative KPI system. As a result of that, the amount of work that for the customer, where are we here, is for a while still going up, but then declining. Look at what it would have been if nothing would have changed. That's probably a non-realistic scenario, but so far newer queries. As a result of that, lower costs, far fewer disruptions. As a result of that, the perceived performance and openness of the supplier is going up. The buyer is much more satisfied now with query handling. As a result of that, the trust of the buyer is going up. As a result of that, the openness to other suppliers is also going up. As a result of that, you're still with me, the perceived openness of the buyer in the eyes of the supplier is going up. As a result of that, the trust with the supplier is going up, and therefore they're more willing to invest. But also, and so they do invest, but also they do have money to invest now. There is the pot of gold, which gives room for investments, but there are also the direct reward from the collaborative KPIs. As the IT disruptions are going down, they do get rewards from that, and that creates more revenues, lower costs, and so nice profits that give room for investment, and those investments also then lead to more investments and better quality. So it's a vicious cycle for the first 2 years, but the same mechanisms turn around as a result of the collaborative KPIs into a virtuous cycle for the second 2 years.